with the person's film. So with regards to Envivo, what we're doing right now is that we're saying to all our content providers for the festival who submitted their shorts, we're saying we're starting an AVOD first. It's going to be an SVOD at the end, but for now it's going to be free. As it's free, data is not free. When it becomes an SVOD, then data becomes free. But then would show you based on what you watch how much you spend on data, and then we'll offer you the SVOD at a cheaper rate. And at that point, you would see. I mean, we have the backends to show you all of that. So we're saying generally, come with your content, and we're going to choose from every content submitted the best 20 directors. Because what I want to do for the industry at the beginning of every year, say January 1st, if you're one of the directors chosen in content, so we want to sieve through the directors that want to make content we are interested in, have them on board, and move with them. Now we're going to be commissioning for film, and we're going to be acquiring, and we're also going to do live TV. Content is very everybody. You think of content, you think of movies. It's not us. You would know that for this year, from Envivo, I'm going to make 70 million, 30 million providing content. So we want to sieve through the directors.
Just hold on. In the next 72 hours, I'm expecting an alert from a platform. So he called me around.
We are interested in, have them on board, and move with them. Now we're going to be commissioning for film, and we're going to be acquiring, and we're also going to do live TV.
Goes to my office, and I said, "What are you doing around?" I said, "I just come on a platform." I said, "Really? That the office is there?" I said, "Okay, that's very interesting." I said, "But they said these people don't pay too well." He said, "No, the last time that they paid him 200,000." I said, "So what?" I said, "So what happened today?" He said, because he was sweating. So I invited him to have a drink. He said that they just paid him 27,000 naira. So what I'm trying to say is that, we need to interrogate these processes very, very carefully, and understand why people's expectations are not being met. And this has to be done very dispassionately. You see, because each time a whole new frontier opens, and we say to ourselves, we don't finally arrive. You're not part of us. You guys are old school. And then people are weeping at the cinemas now. And then now we have digital. And by digital, I always like to include mobile all the way, And so it's looking like a new frontier and cinemas now. And then now we have digital. And by digital, I always like to include mobile all the way, And so it's looking like a new frontier. And before it even started, that frontier is almost, I'm not a pessimist, collapsing. So there are some key issues we need to look at. First and foremost is the question of legislation. Do we have effective legislation that will Do we have effective legislation that will protect the owners of content and also protect the owners of the platform? Because like NBC said, when there's a problem, it's usually easier to catch the big fish. And I mean physically, it's easier to hold something very big than something protect the owners of content and also protect the owners of the platform. Because like NBC said, when there's a problem, it's usually easier to catch the big fish. And I mean physically, it's easier to hold something very big than something very, very small. It will always be very interesting to find an empty 2.8 million or 200 million US dollars. I don't know whether my net value is up to $3 million. So I'm not into see or anything small. It will always be very interesting to find an empty 2.8 million or 200 million US dollars. I don't know whether my net value is up to $3 million. So I'm not into see is the Nigerian Cyber Security Act. I think of 2013. Is it 2013 or 2015? But that legislation was approached from the point of view of national security. So what kind of legislation do we have in mind? if you look at the Nigerian environment, we don't really have effective legislation. The closest thing we have, the closest, is the Nigerian Cyber Security Act. I think of 2013. Is it 2013 or 2015? But that legislation was approached from the point of view of national security, and it is domiciled under the Office of the National Security Advisor. And they deals more with things like cyber bullying and what have you. That's just a small element. And so what they did was to involve NC and say, well, that's NCC, Nigerian Corporate Commission. Say any aspect of it that involves, we will call you. So, and then you ask yourself, was there really, so most times, so the stakeholders need to be active. Another point is that one person is carrying too much baggage. Okay, when we say we need to develop skills, it's not only skills to produce, because even the skills we have now, are they relevant to what is going on? Most of us were trained to make long form. Do you understand the changing nature of the new audience and the dynamism of the digital age? Because people are talking about making films in 1 minute or 2 minutes, and then people have millions of things to watch. So if you're creating content that people cannot stop as you're passing your living room and stop to watch, and it ends quickly, and then you jump inside and drive off, it might not be. So then you're talking about marketing. Why should I be the one to market? Our entire business model is flawed. You have a system where you produce, you raise money, you market. Come on. So we need to change all these things. I could go on and on, but since Mr. Chapman.
Mado, that's good. As usual, you know what you can do. Yes, as I don't know, they said that, when Moses got to the sea, I think God told him that these Pharaoh soldiers you have seen today, you shall see them no more. Trust me. Already it's happening gradually. A lady, I know one lady, I don't want to mention her name here. She charges 100,000 naira for 3 weeks to be on her channel. 100,000, that was she charges to be on her channel for 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, she pull you down. Meanwhile, she has lots of adverts on her channel. Guess where the channel is located? Instagram. Instagram. The contents there were contents shot with her phone. She makes roughly 3, 4, 5 million naira monthly from her channel on Instagram. So, we need to understand where the world is heading to first. All the things we've been saying here is look at the potentials around now and then find a way to key in. And you will have problems. Things are happening. If you is coming with it's almost 300 to 400 channels. The daily Choma's platform. Forest TV, my own platform, we have 9 TV channels already broadcasting. We're not on Star Times. We're not on DSTV. We're broadcasting around the world. In fact, from our analytics, our largest viewers, you'll be surprised, are Saudi Arabian men. Nigerian movies. I don't know what they're watching there. Followed by UAE. Then followed by Caribbeans, then white women of the age of 40 and above. So it's just changing. You know what I'm saying? So when I listen to what they're discussing here, I keep on wondering, are they really sure? Are they really on terms with what's happening around the world? Because with full internet, you don't need, in the US, they hardly watch conventional TVs any longer. You're always on your online watching. You know what I'm saying? If you want to watch sports, you watch sports throughout, online. Now you see that even boxing, football, entering into Facebook, social media. So why are we still concerned about NBC, this, NBC, did that? Let's think outside the box. Let's find a way to be ready because it's going to come. Google, I think they opened like 200 hotspots across the country. The world is moving towards 5G. Funny enough, we're still in 3G and struggling to enter 4G. I was surprised. Yes, 5G. You see? 3.5 now. I was last 2 months ago. I was called to come for a convention in Switzerland on 5G implementation, not in discussion again. Implementation. So let's think of how do we get there? So by the time this thing gets there, we're already there. Are we going to be telling them that NBC didn't give us or we don't? We should have passed that level by now. So please, we need to round up now. I think we actually need time for this. Next time, give us more time because this is quite massive. The materials we have here are quite plenty. I can forward anybody that needs information about online broadcasting can get to me. I forward the information they need. Yeah. On regulation, right? No, you see, I'm coming. It's an issue, really. Somebody opened a YouTube channel, give it to a third party in India to manage for him for a whole year. The guys went offline. He couldn't get them again. And he put like almost 300 movies on that platform. So it's very important you know who you're dealing with. Back end is very important. Who controls your back end? You want to answer that, Joe?
Well, I'll answer for myself and for the mechanism we're developing with Envivo. So you won't be sweating with 27,000. Like I said, January 1st, the directors that have been chosen to work with the platform get to know from January 1st how much they're entitled to for the year. So there'll be no sweat. Yes, we're actually commissioning for film. We're not You're not putting your film on for we're not YouTube. Yeah.
So in addition, MTN just launched their platform. They have channels now. In fact, our channels are on MTN also. And you're talking about 30 million uh, smartphone subscribers with access to your content. No station in Nigeria can give you such numbers. For 6 million, yeah, that's great. Which means in the next 1 year or so, by the time I look at how do you check station performance, MTN will be number one. So if you have a channel on MTN, sorry, I wouldn't know, but the fact is that I've already launched in Kenya and sorry in Zambia. I know the numbers you are getting there. I am on MTN. Then yeah, a platform. Yeah, Dennis have been approaching me for me to be on your platform. You know, yeah, he will tell you. I'll be doing guy for you guys. so so please, the key thing. No, I'm just giving examples actually. The key thing now is you can put your channels across board. It mustn't be on terrestrial only. It mustn't be on DSTV. You could still put it on online, you know, to create more value for yourself. Companies also on MTN called 2CTV, very strong company, and they also have channels they are pushing there. Things are happening, you know. So we're not waiting for NBC. Basically, we're not waiting for we're pushing. The key thing now, are we going to build a purview of NBC? I doubt it. But it's telecommunication. So it's actually going to be NCC that's going to control or regulate what we are doing. You know what I'm saying? So there are opportunities everywhere for us to excel and for us to be across world. Like I said, as at now, we are in Zambia. I'm launching with Telkom South Africa and Vodacom South Africa as their channel suppliers. So things are happening across. You don't need to be confined to one space again. That's what this platform opportunity gives you. So thank you very much. I'm sure we've done a partial justice to this because we actually need more time for this. Yeah. Okay, sorry, please. Sorry. Audience, please. Any question who want to ask?
Thank you. My name is Michael Chima. I'm more of a digital person. I have Screen Nigeria on YouTube. As I said before, people who know who read me, the future of the film industry is mobile, whether we like it or not. When people complain about looking for funding, I often say they are not serious if you know what you are doing. Our guy here mentioned in the AKG, there is a 6-year-old guy, maybe in US, it makes about $11 million every year just discussing toys. I have a 4-year-old kid in the house who uses iPad to watch video games. 4-year-old uses iPad to watch video games for hours. Sometimes he's so hooked up, you know. So that's an audience for you, based on your content. And mobile is good. And the problem with mobile is that everybody wants to rush to it. Iroko started from mobile. But everybody wants to go mobile now. They just want to be there. And that's the problem. Everybody wants to sell pure water. But they don't know that may not be what you should know how to do best. But I want to tell you people that is where the money actually is. We have, Nigerians on mobile are over 125 million on mobile. And somebody mentioned data. Sometimes it's data free. I will not tell you how they do it. The new piracy now, It's not Alaba. It's data free with memory cards. Consumers are now pirating movies themselves. They don't tell you memory card. They download 90 movies from somebody by the roadside. You understand? That is the future. Even more people you don't think they understand English. They know how to use their mobile phones to download content. 20 naira for 3 movies. And times 91 million people using mobile phones. They are making millions on the street. And you people are wearing suits and agbada here. Somebody's making money. So, no, I'm just saying, I sit with them, I do a lot of research. People know me very well. I write on all these things. People on the roadside, they are making 300,000 every month. They're educated. Some of them have a HND. People are complaining here. Nigeria has the biggest market in the black world. And mobile is it. Iroko makes more money than all these TV stations that are making noise here. So let's be serious about this. There's something mobile I will not discuss here. There's something mobile which nobody knows here. Nobody on this panel has spent. There's something mobile. And that is the money. It's not even, that is the money. The money comes straight to your pocket, not to the advertisers. The only person who has gotten it is the richest man in the world, to the Jeff of Amazon. There's nothing mobile. Nobody has touched it. Everybody's on mobile here. Even local has not touched it. It's there in the mobile. I'm looking at it every day. Once you have it, you don't even need to be waiting for somebody to send alert to you. The alert will go straight to your, the way you get alert for money will go straight to, that's all. Thank you.
Okay. So, you round up, all right? Okay. Round up, right? Yeah, no. Okay. So, panel, thanks a lot for the contributions so far, and even those that drafted in impromptu also performed. Emeka, I know you didn't disappoint. Mad is always a workhorse every time you call him, even when he's sleeping. Then Dennis, thanks for coming all the way from France to be with us today. We appreciate that. Then Chomude of Afriv, now of Invivio. Thanks for being with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. So we're going downstairs now. We have a happy hour courtesy of Mace Entertainment and their partners Z. Unfortunately, at the point of boarding their flights to Nigeria, they were stopped from entering the flight, so they couldn't make it. But in any case, courtesy of them, we have this happy hour, and after that, we have the closing cocktail, and after that, we have RTI dinner. Make sure you network and have the best of time. I hope you're not in a hurry to go. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Okay, please, before you go, I want to give my vote of thanks because, okay, no, we're still going to the cocktail. So that will happen there. Thank you.
Welcome to the Global Business Review. I am Joy Onka. Newspapers are an essential component of the Nigerian news landscape since the pre-independent days, but their revenues have declined as almost 100 million Nigerians access the internet and consume news digitally. The industry's financial and subscriber base has become shaky even as website audience traffic has grown for many of the newspaper brands. Now, in this second edition of the two-part series, we're focusing on the newspaper patterns of news consumption and their effect on revenues of traditional news audiences. Stay with us as we explore the patterns and data about the Nigerian newspaper industry and its implications. With me in the studio is senior VWS analyst Lekon Fakoejo as he gives us more insights on the story. Lekon, you're welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, Lekon, now the number of internet users in terms of accessing news in Nigeria is growing astronomically. And like I said earlier on, we have over 100 million Nigerians accessing news from online platforms rather than the newspapers, which has always been the case in the past.
Yes.
Now, how do you see these affecting newspapers and their revenue?
Okay, well, I believe that the internet penetration in Nigeria would actually cut the growth of newspaper sales in Nigeria, just like we are already experiencing according to the VWS report on the newspaper industry. We state that the newspaper industry actually had a 1% decline when you compare it to the 2016 year. So looking at that, I believe the internet penetration and the fact that these digital platforms are now creating cheaper and easy ways for people to consume news, and you have to take this into consideration, the data as well in Nigeria.
Okay.
This is a competing factor in terms of telecommunication in Nigeria. They use data to compete, to gain market share, to have more consumers to add to their side or to switch customer loyalty. So as data keeps decreasing or keeps going cheaper in Nigeria, you find that more Nigerians will be willing to go online to actually consume news. And don't forget that when news break, most times recently now, you find it first online before newspapers get to carry it. And it will probably be the next day, and it should just be a deeper detail. But already people have seen the news and they've moved on from it.
But speaking of having news as you go, we are beginning to see newspapers also own their own online platforms.
Okay, yes.
Now, I assume that this should also help boost revenue for newspapers because if you can get the news on the hard copy, you should also get it on the soft copy for that newspaper.
That is one of the reasons why newspapers have still been able to make a play for the media industry, because they realize that if they don't do this, if they don't move on with the trend, it will probably affect them, because they already see that it's already affecting the newspaper sales. And what next can they do? What's the better way to compete against this digital platform? Is also for them to get into the game, enter the market, and also compete and also throw the same competition, or should I say the same method that these digital platforms are giving us to them. And when I'm talking about this is that you look at a newspaper like Punch now. Punch is doing well, and Vanguard, who of course is on our focus on the VWS report, is also rated as one of the best news sites in Nigeria actually. So looking at Vanguard, they believe that if we can give people exclusive through newspaper, and these online platforms come to our newspaper and make use of our news to reach consumers, wider audience, why can't we do the same? So instead of this audience in different parts of the world going to all these digital platforms to seek for news that these newspapers actually develop themselves, this paper decides, okay, you know what, let's join the market, let's have our own online platform to deliver the same news that we are giving them on hard copy. Let's give them on the online platform as well.
All right, we're still looking at the entry barrier into the online media platform, but then we'll go on a quick break now, and when we return, Global Business Review continues. To stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Pride Television, and this is the Global Business Review. And I still have with me VWS Senior Analyst Lekon Fakoyejo, and we're looking at the recent decline in the newspaper revenue in Nigeria. Now, Lekon, you would agree with me that right now there is an intense competition between the newspaper and the digital media. Now, with this intense competition, how does the newspaper industry intend to compete against this new player now in the space? And also, what would you say is your outlook for the newspaper industry?
Okay, well, first of all, like before we went on the break, I was talking about the fact that this newspaper industry have now decided to do what? To also get into the same markets that the digital media are making use of. That's the media entrepreneurs, because these are individuals that have decided to use the growing rate of the internet to their favor. And you realize that most of these online media entrepreneurs actually don't, most of them source for news from these traditional newspapers.
Yes,
and so traditional newspapers are decided that, okay, you know what, we can't compete with them based on the price of prints. So the easy way for them to compete as well in the market and also gain market share is through having such platform as well. That's why you see Punch having their own online platform, The Nation having theirs, Business Day having theirs. Okay. That way they can reach the same audience that these online media entrepreneurs are reaching with their own content.
So what then is your outlook for the newspaper industry?
Okay, well, for me, I believe with this market strategy, in order for them to get market share as well, I believe the newspaper industry would probably have, and looking at the fact that the World Cup is going on and the coming election, the newspaper industry would have enough adverts to run, because that is what they actually depend on largely. And newspaper is used mostly in order to reach even when you talk about sophisticated population, because most people still depend on newspapers because of their credibility and the journalistic tools and the journalistic ways they use to search for their own content. So most people still trust on newspapers. So I believe that yes, the online media will probably cut the growing rate of the media organization of the newspaper industry, right. But definitely it will still experience growth, but on a decelerated manner.
Okay, newspapers will still experience growth when it comes to adverts, but not as much as it has been in the past. All right, thank you very much.
This is the life. This is the place you wanna go. This is the time to see the world you never know. This is the life. This is the dream. This is the wish. This is the chance that you don't ever want. This is the life. This is the life. This is the place you wanna go. This is the time to see the world you never know. This is the life. This is the dream. This is the wish. This is the chance that you don't ever want. This is the life. This is the life. This is the place you wanna go. This is the time to see the world you never know. This is the life. This is the dream. This is the wish. This is the chance that you don't ever want. This is the life. This is the life. This is the place you wanna go. This is the time to see the world you never know. This is the life. This is the dream. This is the wish. This is the chance that you don't ever want. This is the life. is the